Do you guys think that Colorado needs to win more games to even have him in that conversation? Or how do you feel about that?
I don't think teams' wins and losses are necessarily a quarterback stat, but you have to win more games to keep yourself in the conversation. Shedeur has the fireworks to be a Heisman contender, but I don't think the consistency at this point. And I think that goes for all of Colorado. You can't come off end your season with a 6-game losing streak and still expect to be in the Heisman conversation.
I don't think Colorado is a good enough team to contend for the Big 12, let alone the playoff, and that's going to take Shedeur out of it. If his team isn't winning, even if he's having a stellar season, it's really not going to matter.
All season, but especially last week, Travis Hunter showed why he is considered the best wide receiver and cornerback in the nation. But why do you think he doesn't get more national recognition, especially in the Heisman race, as a two-way player?
That's a really good question. I think there are a lot of different ways you can go with that. I think part of the reason that he doesn't get maybe as much media attention as somebody who is, again, as talented as he is on both sides of the ball. Maybe it's just because he's really not the most outgoing, most flamboyant personality. This is somebody in Travis Hunter who really just loves football and just loves playing the game. He really doesn't, love or enjoy all the other stuff, all the shine that comes with it. He really just likes to go out there with his brothers, play ball, and, chase his dreams, because he's not always in the media, because he's not always giving you the cool, funny sound bites. I think, he might be, on the back end of, maybe some media coverage. But if you just look at the talent, you just watch the man play. What he did on Saturday night over Colorado State, intercepting a pass on offense, having 13 catches for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's believed that that's the first stat line of a college football player ever. The first time that stat line has ever been put on. So he is a true one-of-one talent, and it won't be long until, people start realizing that this is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate.
About a month into the college football season, we're going to break down our top 4 Heisman Trophy picks. Blake, who you got up first?
I've got Jalen Milroe up at the top, and after last week's performance against Georgia, this really shouldn't be a surprise. But if you're Jalen Milroe and you just took down the number 1 defense and one of the top teams in the country, and you did it all without really breaking too much of a sweat in the first half, you're going to be in contention for this award.
I'm going with Miami quarterback Cam Ward. Cam Ward was my preseason Heisman pick, and I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. Miami is 4-0, and Ward leads the FBS with 18 passing touchdowns, and he's thrown for the second most yards this season. I think he's definitely a front runner and deserves to be.
I've also got Travis Hunter as a top 4 contender. I think more so than any player in college football, Travis Hunter's ability to win this award is not tied to Colorado's success on the field. We're used to seeing quarterbacks coming in and dominating and controlling the game. We're not used to seeing someone like Travis Hunter, who's doing it on both sides of the ball and rarely taking a snap off. And as long as he's putting up highlight reel plays and highlight reel numbers, he's going to be in this conversation, whether Colorado wins or loses.
I think still in this conversation, we can't overlook Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel or Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava. I think in terms of Nico Iamaleava, he's in the mix, but he's got to throw for more touchdowns because he's absolutely dazzling to watch, and it's really so much fun. But he's got to pad his stats more if he wants to make a real Heisman campaign.
Travis Hunter is one of the Heisman favorites for a reason. He's a really talented player, and what he does on both sides of the ball is really special. And doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. A lot of people, have their 2 cents to say about him, and a lot of people want to hate on him, but he plays really hard, and being able to play as many snaps as he does week in and week out is truly special.
Headed into week 13 of the college football season, there's only 2 regular season weekends left. Has Travis Hunter locked up the Heisman Trophy, or do we think that Dillon Gabriel or Ashton Jeanty or Cam Ward could still steal it from him?
I do think it's Travis Hunter's to lose at this point, but I'm not ready to say that Jeanty can't make a spoiler campaign run. After Colorado's game on Saturday in week 12, we all thought, well, that's it. That's the Heisman. Travis Hunter did everything with a touchdown and interception. He was making the defense look silly. And then what did Jeanty do? He came out with 3 touchdowns of his own against San Jose State and powered Boise State to a big win. So I'm not ready to say he's out of it yet, but he's got to do something spectacular in his last 2 games against Wyoming and Oregon State, and then whoever they play in the championship, in order to really make some noise and make this a close race.
At this point through the season, Travis Hunter has 10 total touchdowns, more than 900 receiving yards, 3 interceptions, 8 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. And I just don't know that there's another player who can do everything he does on both sides of the ball. There's not.
This is the race that we've been waiting for years, and it's not really anyone's fault that Travis Hunter is kind of running away with it. That just speaks to how brilliant he has been.
Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty are the Heisman frontrunners after Week 14 games, with Dillon Gabriel and Cam Ward trailing in the distance. Between Hunter and Jeanty, Jeanty is the only one playing in a conference title game. So do you think Hunter has the Heisman Trophy locked up, or could Jeanty put up a standout performance in a conference championship game and sneak past him?
Look, I lean Hunter right now, and I think he's in line to win it, but I'm not ready to say that Jeanty's out of it. I think the fact that all eyes will be on him Friday night makes a massive difference. And let's not forget, you're talking about a running back who has more total yards and fewer carries than Derrick Henry, more yards per carry than Mark Ingram, and more touchdowns than Reggie Bush. Those are the three last running back Heisman winners. I think also anyone who asks what a power forward defense would be able to do to slow down Jeanty also has to be able to answer what a power forward offensive line would do to make him better. Just saying that he plays in a weaker conference is not enough to say that he should not be the Heisman.
That's a compelling argument, but I have to disagree. I actually think Travis Hunter locked up the Heisman Trophy weeks ago. He's fifth among FBS wide receivers in receiving yards and second with 14 touchdowns. And defensively, he's got 11 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. He's an impact player on both sides of the ball, and his absence, though rare, are felt. And then you take into account how many snaps he's playing, and I think he's got the Heisman Trophy locked up as the most outstanding player.
The Heisman finalists for the 2024 college football season are out. Blake, if you were a Heisman voter, who would you vote for this week?
I think I got to go with Ashton Jeanty. And I do think this is a much closer race between him and Hunter than we may have thought. If you look at his Mountain West Championship game against UNLV, after he broke off a 75-yard touchdown run, his Heisman odds went from 15-1 to 4-1. Sure, they rebounded back after the game and Hunter remains the clear favorite, but that does tell me that even the odds makers aren't sure this is the runaway that they think it's going to be. With 2,500 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns, I think you have to go Jeanty here.
Yeah, you're making a really good argument, and I think it's really close, especially after Jeanty's performance in the Mountain West Championship game. But I think I would still be voting for Travis Hunter if I were a Heisman voter. Even after not playing in a conference championship game, Hunter is still in the top 10 of wide receivers in terms of receiving yards. He's second with 14 touchdowns. He's in the top 10 of passes defended. He's got 4 interceptions on the season. He is a standout player on both sides of the ball. He would be, I think, in this Heisman conversation, even if he wasn't playing both sides of the ball, but he's doing it at such an incredible level. This would be a really, really hard decision for me, but I think I would still give the edge to Travis Hunter here.